With the NFL season right around the corner, I thought it's only fitting I bring to you one of the teams I love most for this upcoming season and give you a few more record predictions for this NFL season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the conversation of the day, and I absolutely love their roster heading into the season. I'm projecting them as the division winners and to have a home playoff game, and we're about to break down exactly why. The Bucs have put on a 5-year drafting masterclass. 19 of the 22 listed starters for the Bucs have been drafted, with the majority coming between 2020 and 2025. Their top 10 offensive line, 80%, has been drafted and developed in-house by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and only 3 starters right now listed have not come from draft picks. That would be quarterback Baker Mayfield, left guard Ben Bredeson, and linebacker Hassan Reddick, who is currently on a 1-year prove-it deal. The Bucs have been excellent in the post-Brady era, and one of the big reasons why has been the development and resurgence of quarterback Baker Mayfield. Let's talk about it. Baker is one of the most underrated guys in the NFL. Only 10 quarterbacks in history have thrown 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns in a single season, and Baker is one of them. There are Hall of Fame names on that list. Dan Marino, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield is one of them. That's pretty incredible, but you don't hear a lot about it, do you? You don't hear Baker's name mentioned when we talk about top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, do you? Kind of odd, in my opinion. He was third highest in completion percentage last year at 71.4%. And I can't stress it enough, he does not get the respect he deserves considering the production that he's posted since arriving in Tampa. Cleveland gave up on him. He was left hanging in Carolina. Rams, he was a backup, and he revived his career with the Bucs. He deserves every penny he receives from the Buccaneers organization. And I will side with Baker for the rest of his career for the job he has done after Tom Brady left. Let's talk about Baker off the field. He's matured. He's grown up. He's a leader. If I was an offensive lineman, I would want to block for Baker Mayfield. He seems like a natural-born leader. Coming out of college, there were some questions about his personality, about his character, maybe a little bit rambunctious with his actions, but he's cleaned it up. He's become a true professional, true NFL vet, and you could see it with the media in post-game, pre-game interviews. He's all about the business now, and I love it. Because personally, I'm not a rah-rah type of guy, and I wasn't a huge fan of that coming out of college for Baker, so I really appreciate the strides he's made with his maturity. Let's talk about the player and the talent, Baker Mayfield. Grit. Grit is the first word that comes to mind when I think about Baker. He's not just a quarterback, he is an athlete. Uses his mobility to his advantage. Knows when to use his legs, makes an impact in the run game. He's a physical presence, dominant, lowers the shoulder on defenders. If they played Baker on special teams, I think he would succeed. He's the closest comparison I have to a Taysom Hill kind of player. He's a great athlete with a great arm, pushes the ball downfield with accuracy, precision, airs the ball out. And yes, he's got a lot of talent around him, but he does a lot of the work himself as well. Last year, stiff-arming Nick Bosa to complete a 4th down conversion, that was Baker Mayfield. That encapsulated who Baker Mayfield truly is. I think he's a dog. He leads with his physicality. And you don't often get that out of a quarterback, especially somebody that's active in the run game, like a Lamar, a Jalen Hurts. I don't see them as physically dominating as Baker Mayfield. I would take Baker over Dak, Jordan Love, and there's a discussion to be had over Stroud, Jared Goff, and Matthew Stafford right now. I truly believe it. When you look at his strengths, like I said, mobile quarterback, knows when and how to use his legs to his advantage, accurate passer, pushing the ball downfield with a big arm, physical presence, toughness, and he's one of the guys. There's a lot to love about Baker Mayfield, and you can see the development over the years since entering the league up until now. He's improved, made massive strides, and he's only getting better. Last year, by far his best statistical season, and I just expect things to get even better with the offense he's got around him because I think the team is really incredible. So that's a little side note about Baker Mayfield and my belief in him, but let's talk about the team. The Bucs have assembled an elite top 10 offense in football. They have the Avengers on offense, and I love it. And their defense is quickly rising the ranks. Defensively, last year, little shaky, solid, but not the best. Their secondary was a massive problem last season. They went out and addressed it in the draft. Ben Morrison and Jacob Parrish, both draft picks for the secondary. Ben Morrison considered a huge steal for the Bucs in the second round. High praise as an athletic, physical corner out of the second round for them. But Jacob Parrish, specifically, considering Ben Morrison just got injured, I believe today actually, with a hamstring, not sure what his agenda looks like heading into the season. Parrish has stepped up in a massive way and made an immediate impact for this defense. Parrish could be an autofill in the secondary for week 1 and remain a starter for the rest of his career in Tampa Bay. At least that's what the reports coming out of training camp are saying. And for an area of need in Tampa Bay, that's big time. They're a really good drafting team. And we're going to get into that more and more as we progress through the episode. But look what they've done. They saw a hole last season. They went out and addressed it in the draft. But it's not just defensively that they're excellent drafting. They do it offensively too. And I did forget to mention as well, getting Antoine Winfield Jr. back for a full healthy season will be huge for them. Offensively drafting. We mentioned the offensive line, top 6 unit ranked by PFF, 80% drafted in-house, developed by the Bucs. Tampa Bay is wide receiver university. Mike Evans has aged like fine wine. One of the most consistent receivers in NFL history. Chris Godwin, when healthy, one of the best slot machines in the NFL. Jalen McMillan, a young stud who had a breakout season with 8 touchdowns last year, who's had glowing reviews from Todd Bowles, having a heck of a camp, as per reports. And of course, this year's draft pick, Emeka Egbuka, the rookie, who all the vets have had nothing but great things to say about him. Baker talked about his versatility, and Todd Bowles said he could be a number 1 today in the NFL. They draft for the future. They prepare for life after veterans, after Tom Brady, after Mike Evans, after Chris Godwin. They don't wait before it's too late and act. They get things done early to avoid these rebuild stages and keep it consistent and always be a contender. And you love that about the Bucs. So that's why I'm so fascinated with them this year, and I'm projecting them so highly with their record, which we'll get into right away. But first and foremost, I want to touch on the greatness of NFL teams and how that links to the drafting that franchises do. Great NFL teams do 2 things particularly well, in my opinion. They draft well, and they are excellent in the trenches, O-line and D-line. Those are the 2 things I think a lot of great teams today have in common. And obviously, we're talking about modern NFL. Let's look at the past 5 years. I'll give you a few examples. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we just talked about them. Great drafting. 19 of 22 starters today have been drafted. They develop in-house. Offensive line, great. Defensive line, great. And the rest of the units feed off the trenches. The Philadelphia Eagles, the best drafting organization over the past 5 years with Howie Roseman. Offensive line, number 1. Defensive line, top 5. And once again, all the other position groups feed off the trenches. They build inside out, and they're always prepared for what's next. They're never behind the 8 ball. They're always prepared with the draft and with young guys coming up. Same thing with the Bucs. Emeka Egbuka, they're ready for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to depart when they do and when they tailor off because of age. Because it happens, and they are prepared. The Denver Broncos, they've been excellent drafting these past 5 years. They have a great offensive line. They have a physical, dominating defensive line. As a result, they've seen quarterback success. They've seen defensive success. They've seen a playoff appearance last year when nobody expected it. When they've had first-round picks, they've capitalized on them. And they're good at identifying talent that translates to the NFL. Bo Nix, Pat Surtain, Jerry Jeudy, who is now a Pro Bowler. Hopefully, Jahdae Barron would be my next best bet. So when you think of great NFL teams, the two immediate things that come to mind, drafting well and trenches. It's very simple, but the simple stuff isn't always the easiest. These are the basics, right? This is the groundwork. This is the foundation. Draft well, build your O-line, build your D-line, and everything else around it will find its way. And a lot of the teams that have suffered have not been able to translate first-round draft picks into success, and they haven't keyed in on their offensive lines and defensive lines. And I think that's where it all starts. Look at a team like the Panthers this year. Sure, the defense isn't great at all. Sure, they've sucked for a while, but their offensive line is great, and slowly, they're building up. That's where it all starts. You got to key in on the trenches, the O-line, the D-line, forgotten about in the NFL. Not really talked about, especially the O-line, but crucial to a team's success. So now let's talk about the fun part. All right, 2 record predictions. We talked about the Bucs, about the Eagles. I already gave a Denver Broncos prediction. So let's get to it. Bucs first up. We'll go 17-game season, week 1 to week 18. Here we go. Week 1, Falcons, win. Week 2, Texans, loss. Week 3, Jets, win. Week 4, Eagles, win. I think they steal a win against Philly. Week 5, Seahawks, loss. Week 6, 49ers, win. Week 7, Lions, loss. Week 8, Saints, win. Week 9, bye week. Coming off the Week 9 bye. Week 10, Patriots, win. Week 11, Bills, win. Week 12, Rams, win. I think that's a really nice win streak that they racked up there. Week 13, Cardinals, loss. Week 14, Saints, win. Week 15, Falcons, loss. Week 16, Panthers, win. Week 17, Dolphins, win. Week 18, Panthers, loss. They finish 11-6, winning their division and winning a playoff game at home, at least one. They win at least one playoff game at home. I think they win the division. I think they take over. They got a really good team. I outlined it this episode. There's a lot to love in Tampa. Now, Philly. Philly's the best team in the league right now. Nobody competes. They're by far the number 1. And I think my record prediction will reflect that. Week 1, Cowboys, win. Week 2, Chiefs, win. Week 3, Rams, win. Week 4, Bucs, loss. They got to lose at some point, right? I don't think they'll go 17-0. I think the Bucs gave them trouble last year. I believe they won that game in the early weeks of the season. I think they'll do it again. Week 5 Broncos, win. Week 6 Giants, win. Week 7 Vikings, win. Week 8 Giants, win. Coming off the Week 9 bye. Week 10 Packers, win. Week 11 Lions, win. Week 12 Cowboys, win. Week 13 Bears, win. Week 14 Chargers, win. Week 15 Raiders, win. Week 16 Commanders, loss. That's on the road. Week 17 Bills, win. Big rebound. Week 18 Commanders, win. Pardon me. Week 18 Commanders, win. Finishing 15-2. And they're my favorites to win the Super Bowl and go back-to-back this season. How can they not be? They're easily the best team in football. Super dominant. Great defense. Great offense. Coaching might be up in the air. But besides that, everything else on the roster compensates for it. Big season from Philly. Big season from Tampa. Wouldn't be surprised if they meet in the playoffs. I think it would be a great game. But that's this episode. Bucs are big time this year. Key in on that. I think they win the division. Appreciate you for tuning in. Catching the next episode. Stay up to date with the content. Appreciate it. Peace out.